This is On the Red Carpet.
Hello and welcome to On the Red Carpet. We're talking with the stars of Marvel's new action-adventure, Thunderbolts. In this movie, the Avengers aren't around to save the world, so it's time for some anti-heroes to assemble.
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape the past. Hey, it's like your mind is somewhere else.
Do something about it now, or live with it forever.
So what, do we all just punch and shoot?
We are the Thunderbolts! Can't call ourselves that.
Thank God.
The Thunderbolts. It's a cool name.
Let's begin our Thunderbolt interviews with Florence Pugh and David Harbour. All right, here's my first question. Florence, based on what you go through physically, do you have to walk into this production unafraid?
Wow. I think a bit of fear is healthy. I really like how fear keeps me on my toes. It keeps me alive. It keeps me curious. So everything about this role had the correct amount of fear, and it makes me want to go to work.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
All right, so David, here's what I like about the character you play. Yes, he comes in and we get comic relief, but as the movie goes on, you get to show us the more dramatic and emotional side. And the character is more layered than I thought before the film started.
Yeah, I mean, it's what an amazing character to be able to play. There's you get to do that in deeper work sometimes, like great plays by George Bernard Shaw and these different things, but like rarely in a Marvel movie, if you're the comic relief, you're going to be the comic relief, kind of. But then this movie incredibly allows him to have this growth and this arc and this journey and to have this beautiful scene with Florence. So it's a complete joy to play.
Did he give you any fatherly advice during the shooting of the film?
I don't think our relationship was like that, but I do think that we both have the same dedication to like doing justice to these characters and their roles together. You know, I was very lucky to start this with David 6 years ago, and I'm just so grateful that we both have the same amount of passion to make sure that these characters are going in the right direction together.
I did like what you just said about you don't think the relationship's like that, because the one thing I want to know more is about this relationship, because I know it can be Marvel,
Yeah.
but Marvel takes us deep sometimes, and if we got deep into your relationship as father-daughter, it gets really complicated.
But that's not to say that I don't look up to him. Like, you know, there were plenty of times on set where he fully saved me, and I didn't know that I was able to ask for those things or demand those things, and because he was on set, he protected me. So there's definitely an element of he's a hugely experienced actor and knows how these things work, and I'm still also figuring things out. So just because it's not a fatherly-daughter relationship does not mean that he is not hugely caring of me in those scenarios. So yeah, it's probably a mixed bag.
But also, as you say, like the relationship between the two of us, I mean, I would love to see more of that too. I mean, from your lips, we should see where they go from here. We've planted some seeds already, and the what's in the movie is so great that it would be great to see where they go from this and future projects.
I'm always surprised when I'm watching a Marvel movie and all of a sudden I get attached. And even the violence felt personal here because, I don't know, it's a little scrappier. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
It's very scrappy. I think they're all desperate. They're so desperate. They're really clinging on. Even like their fighting styles, their arguing styles, like the irritation when they're being driven by him in a limo, like everything just feels like they're all on the brink of having like a breakdown. And it's great. It's just this, that everybody's on this boiling level of who's going to pop off first.
And in the end, there's an intensity certainly toward that, like to that denouement in terms of psychologically how these people are going to figure out this incredibly complex individual who's a baddie at that point. It's very unnerving.
I don't know even what to call these characters right now. I don't know if it's anti-heroes, almost superheroes, and I don't know what. Do you know?
We called them. We came up with traumatized and trying. TNT.
Oh, America's so big.
You ever drive through Oklahoma? It's so flat.
You got a convoy approaching fast. Step on it.
Come on. Come on, baby.
Okay, a bit faster, please.
Lexi!
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Engaging defensive measures.
Oh my god.
Wait, that's not supposed
Oh my god.
Walker, shield!
Is that Bucky?
It's a Winter Soldier. That guy is so cool.
And now I'm here with Wyatt Russell and Sebastian Stan, and I'm going to start with you, Sebastian. You've done a lot of Marvel movies. I felt like this Marvel movie felt different. It had its own vibe. Am I right?
I think so. I think. Well, if to me it feels it's very real. The characters are very real. They are not. They're not perfect, and they could die at any moment, and they could kill each other at any moment, and they're obviously dealing with a lot of sort of relatable things like trauma.
Seen a lot of like the cosmic circus stuff, which has been really fun. But this is a more grounded version of some superheroes who do more punching and hit, whatever, running around, and they have less superhero qualities than some of the other guys who can fly, shoot lasers out of their eyes, and
You are so battered in this movie.
Yeah, we get pretty beat up. But that was fun to do. It was a fun aspect of actually just like shooting the movie.
One of my favorite experiences in this film is telling Wyatt's character named Walker to keep it tight, keep it together.
Every chance we could get, it was like,
Walker.
Well, I would just pull out my gun and shoot somebody.
I know. But it was great that you kind of had that sort of lethal weapon. Like,
Yeah.
Mel Gibson character, quick on the draw.
And this is maybe a weird question as well, but I felt like the violence was more emotional here, like, in a way that it felt more personal.
Pretty sure kept telling our director that there wasn't enough violence, but that's good to hear. That's good. I think, yeah, I mean, maybe this is what he intended.
I think the violence of it comes from they all really are misfits, and we come from a place of more of a place of anger and more of a place of feeling like we don't belong. And so the emotional element of what the violence is brought on by, like, these guys are fighting angry. Normally you don't see superheroes fight angry, they fight like responsibly.
Stoically.
Yeah, and we're like, we kind of fight angry because there's nothing left to lose.
You mentioned misfits. Were either of you in that category in high school?
My God, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
You were
I had to
a
move
star
countries.
hockey player.
Yeah, but dude, in California in like, the year 1999, it wasn't like hockey was cool. It was like, this is like a cool thing. Way to go, guy. And then you moved to Canada. When I moved to Canada, it was like, okay, now I'm in a place that understands me. But like, I'd say my first 2 years of high school, yeah, definitely, because I really cared about something that here people were like, I don't know, I did football and baseball. Hockey's sort of a weird thing. Now it's a little different, but yeah, it definitely wasn't like in the mainstream.
that makes sense though about hockey because it is a brutal sport.
Yeah, it's just not like a thing we do here
in the U.S.
Here,
yeah.
in California.
My stepdad was the headmaster of the high school I went to, so it was very nobody was hanging out with me.
How did that go?
It was weird. I never really got in trouble, but I never even got invited to a party really or anything.
Did you ever go to the principal's office?
To say hi and ask him when we're heading home. But yeah, no, I was very good.
Up next, our interview with the villain in Thunderbolts, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Look at you. You are all so adorable. Who is this old Santa?
The Red Guardian.
What?
That's multiple Emmy winner Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays a villainous CIA director in Thunderbolts. She was joined in our interview by Geraldine Viswanathan, who plays her conflicted sidekick. So I see all these Marvel movies all the time, and I felt like this one is different.
Good.
And I don't know yet why. Do you?
Yeah, I can tell you why. Well, first of all, this movie is not wholly reliant on CGI. There are a ton of practical, real stunts in this film that you are seeing, and it gives the film a gritty, more raw quality. And then, of course, in this film, there are themes that are, I think, unusual for a Marvel film. You know, it tackles issues of mental health and depression and feelings of isolation, and integrates those themes into the story in such a way so that there's a way beyond those issues, and offers up some remedies that I think might be very useful, particularly at this time in our world history.
I was surprised at how emotional I get watching the movie, because you never expect it, and then all of a sudden it hits you. Does it hit you too?
Absolutely, yeah. I think because, in filming this, we're so, in our own world, and then there's kind of the Thunderbolts world. I got to really watch this as an audience member for the first time, and I cried. It really is so impactful and effective, and they're talking about, real stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I don't want to give anything away because that's the worst you can ever do. But you have a moment toward the end of this movie that is just really brilliant, that comes out in one of the last scenes that it just made me laugh in all the best ways, because it also then tells me that Valentina is in it for the long haul, perhaps.
Yeah. Perhaps so.
Okay, she's not going to tell me anything.
I'm not going to tell you.
So here's the other thing. Oh my gosh, this movie was over like that.
I know, isn't that great?
Yes.
I mean, seriously, films are so long these days, and I'm so delighted that this movie came in at a good time.
Yeah.
But when the 2 hours is up, I felt like I would have been watching for an hour. It just moved so fast.
Fantastic.
Right. What was your best experience being a part of this Marvel world? Because once you're in it, you're never out of it.
Yeah, you're never getting out.
We're trapped. No, I mean, the whole experience getting to work with Julia was such a gift. And, we shot in the desert in Utah. I think it was so cool shooting this movie so practically. Like, we shot a scene where there really was a helicopter that was, timed out with our lines, and it really was just, the scale of this production is so massive and like nothing I've ever done before. So yeah, I'll never forget it.
It's not often you get to see a movie, Julia, that has an asterisk in the title.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Do we give any hint about that?
No, we do not give any hint.
You've been doing this for too long.
Yeah, I know.
We buy tickets.
Still ahead, meet the director of Thunderbolts, plus Louis Pullman on playing the film's most mysterious character.
It's getting so tense in here.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
Bob is definitely the most mysterious character in Thunderbolts, and ghosts may have the coolest superpowers. They're played by Louis Pullman and Hannah John-Kamen. All right, now I'm here now with Hannah and Louis, and I just want to begin here because I don't know why, but one of the notes I took just in a little square was, this feels more personal than other Marvel movies. Did you feel the same way watching it, Hannah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number one, being invited back, and being invited back in this movie was such an honor and a privilege. And it's a personal journey, and because you've got all these characters are from trauma. They're from their own movies of where they were either the villainized, or the anti-heroes. We are the misfits from our own franchise, and the journey of of us is that, you know, we have our guards up. We're very much alone. We have to trust. We have to learn how to be around and build a team, which is not, I mean, certainly for Ghost, what she is used to. But no, it definitely faces, you know, just feelings of forgiveness, trust, validation, and yeah, it's. I think the way that Jake has directed this is told beautifully and in the most relatable way for everyone.
That's a very lovely answer. Thank you. And I love that sometimes you're Bob, and it's an interesting person to watch. But then I don't know, did they put black contacts in your eyes? What did they do? Because sometimes I'm looking at you and I just...
Right now?
No.
Okay, good. Because I thought I was controlling it as best as possible.
It just worked so well that I just couldn't tell what it was.
That was in post. They did that. Yeah, but we knew when it was going to be happening. So obviously I'm playing into it. I think in so many ways I'm so grateful that this movie, you know, this was my initiation movie, because it's such a challenge to kind of just step into the shoes of like of the superhero world, and this has so many very personal, very grounded, very human themes within it. Yeah. And so in some ways that was like, I was like, okay, I know I can connect with a lot of this here, and then that can be my jumping off point into those other parts where it is more larger than life and out of my personal experience as a human, and so it was a great. It was really a lot of real themes that hit close to home, you know, on this one, and so it was grateful to get to kick off with this.
Look, I mean, when you have an opportunity to be in a Marvel movie and you want to do the action and you want to. You know, it's not just. I'm like, put me in, coach. Like, come on, let's fight. It's like I get this adrenaline after doing the action and the physicality, because the physicality of your character as well is an extension of your character. So it's like how you move, it's your power, it's and it's how you fight as well. And I just think, you know, kicking ass is fun.
That's why we need each other.
All right, here now with Jake Schreier, the man behind Thunderbolts, asterisk.
Asterisk.
It's not often we see asterisk in a title.
You know, you gotta find ways to switch it up, keep it new. You know. Yeah.
You did keep it new, because what I wrote down was this movie was scrappy and it felt unlike most Marvel movies, and I think that was a goal of yours.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a goal of Kevin's. He said from the beginning, you know, do something new with this one, make it different, and that felt like such an encouraging push from someone who's run a studio that's made so many successful things, to still want to kind of push the boundaries and make it better and go in different places. Like, that felt really great.
How did you know you were on the right track for you? Because when you get that order of make it your own, that can be dangerous.
Yeah, well, I think what you do is you rely on, you know, it's not just my own, but it should feel like it belongs to everyone who worked on this movie. And you look at those credits that go on for 8 minutes, and there's so many incredible people that worked on this thing. And, you know, for me, who's coming in and never done this before, like, you really have to rely both on some of our collaborators who hadn't done this before and a lot of people who really had and love these movies and have put so much into the kind of history of the studio and are still excited to make new things and go in different directions, and you know, you wouldn't get there without them.
I like seeing people I haven't seen in this way before. Like, for instance, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is fun to watch, and she is evil.
Yeah, well, and I think, you know, something we talked about is, you know, it's not she calls herself an anti-villain as opposed to an anti-hero, where from her perspective, she's just doing the right thing. She just believes things would be better if she were in charge, that she knows better how to protect people, and obviously that has devastating consequences for our protagonists, but through a different lens, our team could be viewed as the villains of a story. And the question is, like, when you're in that place and in a place of internality or isolation, you could retreat into that, and I think then you would end up where Val does, or through finding connection, could you become something greater as the sum of your parts than you could on your own.
Up next, meet the team behind the music of Thunderbolts.
Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops. Robbing government labs. Contract kills.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone.
Marvel Studios clearly wanted Thunderbolts to feel different, even down to the film's musical score. For that, they enlisted the Oscar-nominated band Son Lux, who previously composed the music for Everything Everywhere All at Once. First of all, let me just say this. The movie goes so fast, and I wonder how that kind of reflects what you do in it. I'll start with Ryan.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, one of the things we have to do, and we get to do as composers, is try to tell the story in the most effective and entertaining way. And hopefully you walk away from a movie feeling like, wow, that was a ride.
There also is an attitude to this movie. Do you put your attitude into the music?
Oh, I think it's really actually about like subsuming ourselves and in the music or subsuming ourselves in the story of the film and like leaving our egos and our personal kind of proclivities at the door and just trying to find what the story needs. And in this case, I think there was a rawness and a humanness and a complexity to these characters, and we wanted to try to find ways to like make the sound vulnerable and make it human.
Nice. And let's talk about the characters then. When you're composing, and sometimes they're focusing on one particular character, like Florence Pugh, for instance, is she more fun to write the music for, or is it someone like Wyatt Russell who's being slammed against one wall after another?
I have to say that for me, it's the variety of this cast of anti-heroes and characters, and the chemistry between them is what was the most fun in a lot of ways. Thematically, when we were developing music for it, it wasn't so much like, okay, this is like Yelena's theme, this is like, you know, Red Guardian's theme. It wasn't so like kind of compartmentalized like that. It was more about like sort of how they related to one another.
Stay out of my way.
Thanks for watching this special Thunderbolts edition of On the Red Carpet. For more celebrity interviews and other entertainment news, follow On the Red Carpet on social media. And we'll see you next time on the Red Carpet.